Hello and welcome everyone to Requiem hour number 43. I'm CM AndraSyte.
Helium. Is it 43?
It's 43!
Wow.
Yes! Varitas should be joining us shortly. She's just getting a little settled real quick and then she'll be right in with us. If you haven't heard today, we're having our Requiem Q&A, our dev talks, and we will also be in Alban. As you can probably already see, I'm here with a bunch of our Temperian friends already, and they're showing their love by beating me mercilessly, but that's okay.
Scrolling your screen with damage.
Exactly. So thank you for joining, everyone. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
So what we'll be doing today, if you hadn't seen the messages or any of the posts that we did, we're going to be doing our dev talks today. So we collected a lot of your questions from the community through the forums, and we're going to be answering those today. We're also going to be summoning some bosses in Alban for our friends in game to have things to do as well. If you did not get your question in onto the forums, don't worry. As long as we have some time, we will try to answer more questions through Twitch or in-game as well. Also, we can also answer questions because if you have not seen, we're having our War Pro is going to be doing a 24-hour live stream tomorrow. It starts at 9 a.m. We will have a 2-hour block of Requiem, so you can also ask your questions then. So we'll probably just go ahead and get started now.
It's for Extra Life, right?
Yes, it's for Extra Life.
That'd be cool.
It'll be great. So it'll be super fun. We can touch on Extra Life a little bit later too to give out all the, or I guess we can do it now because we have some very special fun things for Extra Life for Requiem.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're unfamiliar with Extra Life, what it is War Pro participates in it almost every year. We're raising money for, I believe it's going to be the Children's Hospital of Orange County this year. So
it's the third year in a row, I think. That we
third or fourth, I believe,
fourth
yes.
year in a row.
So if you would like to donate to help out a great cause, I can post links for you in the description. You just need to include your character name along with which game you want to donate during. And if you do donate, we do have some wonderful, awesome prizes available for donations. And
donation gifts. So there's a 3-piece set now for there was a ring, there was a second ring, and now there's a necklace. And they together make a set bonus, and they're cool.
yeah, so we'll post that up and make sure, I believe it is already on the forums, but I'll make sure it's that it gets sent out again, so you can check that out. So without further ado, let's get into these questions, because I know we have a lot, and we want to try to answer as many as possible. So we have our first set of questions.
Okay. Yeah, do you want to start at the top?
Sure, we can start right at the top.
Do you want to read them, or do you want...
Yeah, of course, I can read them. So our first question, we have, when will new enchant coupons be added? So I know that they were mentioned before, but I believe you may have some more info for that.
So if we're talking about coupons rather than Xeons, talking about the success chance increase, yeah, I had mentioned those getting done this year, and they will get done this year. We just haven't had time to implement that yet. So the coupons, as far as coupons go, it's coming really soon. If you're talking about Xeons, though, and I noticed there was a mention of 8 out of 8 enchants, and right now that's the limit. There are 10 enchantment slots, but 2 of them have been taken over by timers for items. The original devs, I don't know why they did that, but I have to look to programming for some changes to allow more than 8 enchants per item. So in the future, though, that's definitely something that's possible. But right now, 8 is the limit. Let's see. What else was there in that? There was, oh, and further abilities. Yeah, I did talk about something that I was going to call epic enchantments, but that hasn't been done yet either. There hasn't been time. I'm thinking next year for sure we can get to that.
I think
oh yeah, 8 is too many already. Someone, because our image is there.
Yes.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's a. Whoop! I hit the mic. There
No, no worries. But definitely something you can we can look into.
Right.
Right. Okay. So that's for that first question. Our second question, sorry friends, I'm going to keep looking down. I have a wonderful list of questions. The next question is regarding pets. They're asking when will the pets for Dominator be approved?
All right. Well, they're still in the planning stages to revisit the pets. Haven't got to that yet either, unfortunately. That might be something I can look to in the skill balance that is going to get finished before the end of the year. But yeah, it's something in the planning stages. I haven't gotten a chance. There's been a revision of pets twice now, but they're still not where they need to be. Obviously, yeah, the pets are lacking in abilities and strength, and they just get wiped out from a single AOE sometimes. Anyway, we know about pets. It doesn't make the Dominator a weak class, though, as some people would argue. The pets are under strength, but the Dominator has a lot of benefits, actually, to make up for it. Anyway.
Okay. So our next question, no, we got that one. When will we be able to capture Valdez mobs for Avenger? Is that a possibility?
It's possible. It's something to think about, but there's no plans necessarily to change those mobs being capturable. We've recently fixed some bugs with that capturability on mobs that shouldn't have been. There's probably still some that are. But as far as Valdez mobs go, there's no plan right now to...
Okay. So our next question, we're just going to try to go through these as quickly as we can and answer it as detailed as possible. When will you change Reaper? They mentioned that the skill, but it might be a weak summon.
Okay, so again, that's included in the pets stuff I was talking about that might get touched on in the skill balance this year. But further changes to pets, we would look to the beginning of next year when I'm able to get back to that. But this year there will be some skill balance still, so that could include touches on different pets of the Dominator, including the Reaper.
Okay, great. So, next question. Is it possible to add no stat pets for free to play players?
Okay, so actually many pets during event periods become available temporarily that have stats. Usually not the same number of stats as you'd get out of an item wall pet, but they're comparable for those periods. And in the future, definitely looking at the question, so I will consider in the future having those pets that are permanent for free, just for aesthetic purposes, so people can enjoy having a pet that picks something up still, but it won't give you stat bonuses, and it'd be free and permanent. That's something to consider.
Okay. So moving right along. Is it possible to add debuff for Dami for curse resistance? This person does believe that the classes can be weak in PvE, and in the raid it does do low damage.
So specifically, curse resistance, that's something I consider for the coming skill balance this year. I want to get more feedback on that though, like why specifically curse resistance. I mean, the Dominator and Defiler in particular use curse damage, and they have higher perhaps curse damage being dealt. As far as the need for resistance to curse, maybe so, but I want to get more feedback on that first.
Okay.
I think that probably capped out on resistance there. Anyway.
Okay. So, next on the list, when will you reduce AoE domain in battlefields?
Let's see. AoE is strong, perhaps even overpowered in some classes, but I don't know. Reducing the time and possibly having, I would think, other balance like debuffs that would reduce the time on an opponent's AoE skills might be even more effective or more a more balanced way of addressing the problem with overpowered AoEs. But altogether, that has to be looked at, yeah, and I know AoEs are really strong in the game. Not as much really in PvP as in PvE. It gives some significant advantages to leveling up for certain classes too, and things like that, because you can really farm groups of mobs that way. In PvP, it's still very powerful. I mean, things that you have to lay on the ground in a certain location are never as good, really, in the PvP situation, because people could just run around it. But in PvP, there is a lot of AoE that is very effective, too, especially the ones where you cast and they follow a person around. It's very effective.
Yes. Okay. So for our next question, I believe they're asking about a equipment set. When will you add the 90 focus set?
That's something we can consider for next year. It hasn't been in the planning stages yet, so if I make a promise on that, I definitely can make a promise on that. But next year we'll consider that.
Okay. So our next question on the list, when will legendary weapons be added?
Apply answer to 90s level FOC gear to this question as well.
Okay. So perhaps something maybe next year?
Yeah, it has to be. It was actually postponed officially because I wanted to get that done this year, and I did start making those legendary weapons this year, but I had to sideline that for some other things that are going to be coming out pretty soon.
Okay. Great. So that is our first set of questions. So our second set of questions is from our wonderful Kazara. So go ahead, I'll read the question. They're for Helium.
Oh, I didn't even pre-answer these ones, so I'll have to think it up as we go.
That's okay. So when are you going to look at the problems in their origins and not on the surface? For example, he gives...
That's good example.
The 89, how on Murder Hour you said how the 89 jumps are supposed to decrease inflation because people will spend to their gear characters, but didn't take into consideration most players play multiple characters. So
I don't know that I said it. Well, actually, maybe I said it should help inflation in the long run. I don't, because I could see that now, maybe, but I don't think in the short term it's going to help inflation. What it's going to do is help us to keep the counts up, people in game. I mean, if you have a bunch of 89 characters that are ungeared now, what are you going to do with that? They're just going to sit there on the account, or are you going to play them and gear them out, and you're gonna be involved in game. You're invested in those characters, the gear, and setting them up and getting. It's not a bad thing to have a bunch of new level 89 characters at all. That's not even capped. They still have to work at that last level. Is quite a jump, but regardless, they will get there. And when you have an ungeared 89 character and you have a bunch of people playing on them, you have nothing. That's nothing but an encouragement to participate in the different game features. I don't see a problem there. Yeah, they will buy it from auction. There will be a lot of new action, money moving around, changing hands. The currency will be there's going to be a high volume of currency active in game, and that's always good for inflation. It will be.
Yeah, I believe Kazara did have one more concern about that too, that he did mention that there was possibly a quest that gave a high amount of lance, and they're worried about if people were able to do high amount or get high amount of land from that. Oh, sorry.
From what in particular?
From they did have the Professor Helium quest.
Oh yeah, that's a boost of land at that level. Like when you get up to that level, that'll help them in a lot of ways. Actually, those 89 characters can get that boost of land and can use that to improve a lot of their gear, do a lot of forging stuff over. And even go to the auction hall and have access to gearing them out. But then they're going to have to, it's not just about gearing them out, you're going to have to upgrade all that gear. It's a lot of time and investment. It's great.
Indeed.
Hey, look who's here.
Yes! Welcome, Varitas!
Hello!
Thank you for joining us. We were waiting for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I was listening in on what do you call it? On Twitch. On Twitch. Twitch.
Let me make sure that we can all be seen. Yes. Okay.
Woohoo!
Yes.
All right.
You're just a little far back. Come back to
I
us.
gotta get my coffee here. Get settled in.
Settle in.
I need like a desk. I guess this will work.
Yes.
Where's my desk?
Okay. But we can move on to the second question now. So hopefully that puts your mind at ease a little bit more, Kazara. For the second question, it's again for you, Helium. When are you going to do something for maybe the more
calls
not
them,
as prominent features of the
he
game.
calls them dead features.
Yes,
let's just say
but
that.
let's reword it and say maybe not as prominent features in game. And again, it's not something to look at the surface, but perhaps it needs to have a deeper, closer look.
Yeah, okay, so that's for sure. Things like battlefields, for example. There are a lot of active battlefields these days, but not as active as they were in the past, and let's say certain battlefields maybe are falling by the wayside. You got Theme Battle Strongest, you got Theme Battle Union, you've got Server Battle, which no longer happens because we don't have more than one server. That'll be fixed in the future, though. We can start up Server Battle again once we have another server, and actually it might be a little while after that, but nevertheless, that's something we can bring back this coming year. And Strongest Battlefields is something I was looking into for the coming year as well, making some changes there, and even having a new form of battlefield that's like a tournament type battlefield where we host the tournament. We've done this before, of course, but having a battlefield that's actually geared to specifically allowing us to set up, tournaments and start them and stop them with, say, GM commands to have these hosted events, like really hook into game features that are interesting that way. Automatically rewards in the game and stuff like that when we queue these things off. So it's a good deal.
Yeah. And I believe you just did cover all the Battlefield because you did do asked as an example of Battlefields.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to mention.
Right. And then
I was just going to mention Caddy. Caddy keeps asking, when can we start asking questions here? And yeah, okay. And she keeps mentioning we need to give us something solid. Well, as soon as we're done with this stream, I got to go work on something solid for today to give you guys the actual Thanksgiving event that we're supposed to. That's not in the questions here, but I just wanted to mention that too. That Thanksgiving event is not on, obviously, yet. Oh no, you crashed.
I did. Give me one moment,
Well, keep
friends.
talking though.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up the screen real quick, but we'll keep talking. We'll be right back.
So as far as Thanksgiving event goes, the only thing that started last night was the global drop of 2 of the items that are involved in it. So there will be a Thanksgiving event that will start today after I fix the rest of the issues that we had yesterday when I put it in. So as soon as we're done here, I'll go and do that, and by the end of the day today, we'll have an actual event out of that. So, yeah. Okay. While it's loading up, I guess we can go to the next question.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, okay. One of the questions I find they're not repeated, but they are strikingly, remarkably similar to previous and coming questions.
So character name giving
Or no character name given for that guy. Wandering Man.
Alright, so the next question is Elementalist, Druid, Dominator, Imbalance, what kind of measures?
Alright, so that's going to be something to consider before the end of the year in skill balance, but the question is sort of too vague for me to really... well, it does specifically mention those classes, but...
I think in the end what it comes down to is, so for anyone who has dealt with balancing any type of game, it is something that is constantly talked about. It is a subject that has come up multiple times. So it's not that we haven't ignored it and we haven't forgotten about it. I know that a lot of players have issues with the way the characters are currently balanced. That is something that will have to be looked into probably next year. We're gonna have I don't know if we've mentioned, we'll have a surprise, but we're going to be announcing it during Extra Life. Yay. So a lot of the things that you're mentioning here will make a lot more sense soon. So just keep that in mind. We're not ignoring the question. We understand that you guys have a lot of suggestions as far as how we can better balance the game, and we are listening. So yeah, so I guess we can move on to the second one, which is some players excessive hack, how to deal. That one again.
So first, I would say, as we always say, please report them, regardless of whether you think something gets done or not. We need those reports because they help us to find the people, and furthermore, the programs and websites and other info which you need to report if you have information on like specific program someone's using for hacking, or a specific website they're going to get the tools, or anything we can use. Information is good because then we can update the systems in the game that we have, the methods that we have to deal with that. So you need to keep the reports up, not just asking the question necessarily, but just send a ticket in and support. It's really easy. You don't even have to look for an answer or reply. Just bombard them with information. That's great. Because then we can take that and do something about it.
Yeah, but one of the things is, I do want to make clear, it really helps us if you find out what kind of hacks, programs they're using, are there any settings. The more you know and you can pass on to us, the better we can go ahead and add it to our
Methods of dealing with it.
Our hack program. I had to touch your program.
Yeah, we do have methods that deal with a lot, and in the past, you'll note that there have been many more hacks, and a lot has been a lot of cheating in the game has been thwarted, but there's still plenty of it, and we're working on it.
There's some people getting by.
Yeah, we're working on it.
And then I would like to upgrade such as graphics and other sounds.
Oh, and Kaz, you don't have to ask the cheater what cheat they're using. They usually just blurt it out, after a while.
I think it's also more of if people report them, then if they have information, you can tell us. And like you and Varitas already said, if we have the information, then we can do more to stop it.
Heck, if you don't have to tell, if you've used one of these things in the past and you know all about it, you don't even have to admit to that. Just tell us all about it, though.
Yes.
I want to know. So.
Next question is, okay, oh yeah, I didn't mention graphics and other sounds. Us too. We would love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be fantastic.
For those who are unfamiliar, Requiem is a very old game, and we understand that there are some things in there that are very outdated as far as the way they look.
We launched it in 2008 here, but it's been around since almost 2006. Well, I would say the very beginning of it started in 2004, but there wasn't a game published until about 2006.
Yeah. So, we would love to be able to do that. Right now, we don't have the resources for it, but just keep in mind we are. It's very much related to other questions later on that we will be able to explain better. So hold that thought. We would love to be able to do that. We are obviously very limited on certain things.
You're talking about the graphics and
graphics,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's an old game, which means that we have to use a lot of legacy programs that aren't actually available anymore. I think we've mentioned it before in the past, but for those new players coming in, it is a game that it actually surpasses some legacy programs.
Right.
It is older than some of the programs it was made on that literally do not exist anymore. So it's a challenge.
Gamebryo is still around, woohoo, but nothing of what Gamebryo was then actually plugs into anything that Gamebryo has available now.
So it makes things exciting. It's not that we don't want to. We love the idea. We want to be able to do that for you guys.
I spend a lot of time working on compatibility to make these things.
But, so we'll move on. Christmas event in December. Are you preparing another New Way event?
So my answer for that here is same plus. So we're going to have the stuff everyone loves from the past and Christmas, but I always want to add something new. So yes, there'll be something that you haven't seen before, but you can expect to have the cards and cool stuff like that back in there. And the trees, they'll be around, stuff like that.
Trees. Oh no, there goes my questions.
Those are favorites that we'll almost pretty much, I can say, we'll almost
Oh, the stream's not up.
Oh no, oh goodness, I am sorry. That was my bad.
You mean, oh yeah.
This picture was still up and not the game. I apologize, friends. That was my doing.
Yep. You're back.
But we are back, yes.
You're fixed.
We are fixed. Everything is great. So, and then we covered Christmas.
Daniel, I hear you. So I just want to comment real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye out on our holiday events. We can't do that all the time. There's a job change item in the item all, but
yeah, and it's sealed too, so you can get it in the auction hall now, and even after Black Friday, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them available.
Yeah, so
for very
keep an eye on Black
inexpensive.
Friday.
Yeah, very inexpensive job changes.
all right.
And you're talking about game currency, not necessarily real money either. So someone had to spend real money, but it doesn't have to be you.
All right, so Christmas preparation plus, so there'll be something new. Don't know what yet, or don't want to say what yet, but something. So let's move on to Valak.
There's
From
Valak.
Guilds.
That's a question right there.
Valak's in-game.
Go ahead.
All right. So the first set of questions is actually for AndraSyte.
Oh, okay.
So are you prepared for
Questions?
this, AndraSyte? Are you prepared?
I'm totally prepared. I got
Sweet.
this.
Hi, my name is Valak, and I have a few questions for
Oh
you.
boy.
Do you have a character in Requiem? If yes, could you stream some gameplay in your free time and may organize some people to help your journey across Ethergia? I join.
I do, in fact. I have a couple characters because I suffer from this thing where it's like, I want to start this class, but now I want to start this class. So I have a couple of different characters. They're definitely not max level, and I'm trying to work on that. So I can see about doing something like that, or maybe we can even do something, if it's for a stream, we could probably like start a character together, and that'd be fun. On my own time, I'll have to see. I'm generally a pretty busy person, but we can definitely see.
All right, next one. What tips could you give to everyone about your motivation to become a CM? And is it hard to become one? Why did you choose War Portal?
So, why did I want to become a CM? Well, first of all, I really do love games. I've been playing games ever since I was little. And I also really like helping people. So those are my two motivations for becoming a CM, especially since I get to work on MMOs, and I love MMOs. So this is like a dream come true for me. And I believe there was a second part of the question I can't quite remember.
Choosing War Portal, but you probably weren't a CM. Well, I'll let you answer. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I wasn't originally a CM when I first came to Work Portal, so it's more of the opportunity presented itself, and I was more than excited to do it because I did have time to interact with the community during my other phase of my job, and I really wanted to again help people, help the community, connect with players, all that fun stuff, while being able to get to know and play some wonderful games. So it was a no-brainer for me. It's just CM, let's do it.
I'll just throw in there that I started as a representative answering emails to tickets too. So.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I think
It's
so.
kind of it's the gauntlet you have to do. You have to start at the beginning. So number 4, what is your favorite genre of games and your favorite taste in music, and do you sing?
Oh goodness. Okay, so let's start with games. I think I already mentioned that I really love MMORPGs, and I've been playing them. I think the first one I played was when I was in elementary school. So I've been playing them for a really long time, and I absolutely love them. As for favorite taste in music, unfortunately, I'm really bad at deciding on things. So I don't have an absolute like #1 favorite genre. I have a couple different genres that I really love. Then they're probably going to sound a little weird because they're all kind of far from each other. I really do like rock and metal, but I also really enjoy like jazzy hip hop and also like EDM music. So I'm kind of all over the place in that regard. For singing, I'm a very shy singer, so you probably will not hear me sing anytime soon, though I do frequent karaoke and stuff with friends and just to hang out and chill and blow off some steam. So yeah.
Those music tastes are what we call eclectic.
Eclectic.
That's the word. Eclectic.
I'm feared. I'm trying to give you some presents to our friends, but I'm feared, and now I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, so I'll probably just summon some things while I wait for this debuff to go away. But yes, I hope I answered your questions thoroughly enough.
You can innate skill to get rid of all the debuffs.
Oh, well, there we go. Now I know for next time.
You can have that on your clipboard and just paste it in.
Yes. I will have to add it to my wonderful list of awesomeness.
Another thing I haven't had time to do is make those set of GM-only skills that just make you be awesome, invisible, or whatever you want, not affected by anything. That's another thing that I wish I had time to do, but I don't.
Alright, so did you answer, do you sing?
Oh, yeah,
yes, I'm just a very shy singer, so you probably will not hear me sing anytime soon.
So on YouTube, you should really check out our holiday singing events.
What?
Uh-oh.
So we have dying and it's terrible. Don't get me wrong. Do not expect, a choir of awesomeness. Just expect a choir of, oh my gosh, what the hell am I listening to? But we do have our holiday Christmas caroling hosted, and I'm pretty sure AndraSyte is on there somewhere.
What?
Just made me think of something for the Christmas event, maybe. Okay.
I'm just saying. There's probably there. I'm just saying.
Oh my
that
goodness.
you should do that. All right. So the next question is, which is your favorite place in Requiem, and can you take us there and explain why?
I probably will not take you there just because we have a bunch of monsters running rampant in Alban right now, so I'd hate to leave just in case I need to go and boop a couple for you guys. But I can tell you what my favorite place is. It may seem a little odd at first, but I have a little story behind it too. One of the places that I really like in Requiem is in the western side of Parnes, the REQ ship area. And it may seem weird again because there's not much over there. But the reason why that's my favorite place is because of you guys. I had one day where I actually did just an impromptu riddle, and whoever solved it, I gave out a few goodies to. You guys know who you are because you're awesome when you joined me. The riddle answer was at the REQ ship, so if you did find me, I gave out a couple little goodies. And we were able to just kind of sit down and talk, and I was able to get some feedback from you guys, and it was just a really fun time. So because of that, that is my favorite area right now. I'm sure it'll change as I get to the later areas in game on my personal characters, but for right now, just because you guys are so awesome, that's my favorite place.
There's some awesome conspiracy theories going on in the questions right now. That one really gets me too. That's funny. They would be pretty spy versus spy, but we're the only people that would. And okay. Anyway,
All
the
right.
questions are from you guys. And yeah, believe me, they are.
Yeah, I mean,
There's really no. Yeah. Oh, my favorite place. Let me get my favorite place.
yes, while we're on the topic of favorite places.
Numeris Ruins, because it represents the largest job for me to do. Numeris Ruins. There's a portal there in the ruins. There's no map mention of. There's nothing. It's just this interesting looking portal that's gonna go somewhere cool. But yeah, I like all the portals that don't go anywhere in the game because that represents room for expansion. Those places.
Room for expansion, room for more fun things.
For more work. Yeah.
Okay. So shall we move on to the next set of questions?
Sure.
Okay. And these ones are, oh my goodness, something is right in my face. Okay.
Somebody's rocket.
Yeah, somebody's on a rocket scared the crap out of
I
me.
made a really fast rocket for the Thanksgiving event, but
Woohoo!
nobody has it yet. I have to fix that soon.
Okay, but for the next set of questions, they're all for you, Varitas.
Oh yeah.
So let's get going on these questions. So the first question is, Varitas, what's going on behind the scenes in Requiem? Can you give us some more up-to-date information regarding exclusive costume designs planned for the future? Will there be new Christmas costumes, or do you have any plans to make costumes for every big celebration?
So this is kind of a question that also involves Helium, but I'll go ahead and answer so he doesn't have to answer every single question. So what's going on behind the scenes is kind of big. As I said, kind of the big reveal will be tomorrow during our Extra Life event.
For sure.
I'm trying to remember, when is Requiem streaming?
We should be streaming
4?
from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. We tried to get an earlier time, but unfortunately that's just where our time frame falls. So I'm sorry about if you wanted an earlier time. But
That's 9 a.m. on the other side of the planet.
okay, so that's not too bad. And it should be the weekend for anyone who's on the other side of the world, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yes.
So, but as far as costume design, so we would really love to be able to do that. As you know, I have reskinned a few things, but we're still running into a few issues, as I said, with the tool. So I can reskin something, but we can't actually bake them together due to the way Requiem is actually built.
Oh goodness.
So we have to go through our
There's an overseas
artist
artist.
teams, which can take up to several months to complete one item. So it's been kind of a battle of, like, this year we likely won't have any Christmas costumes,
I would
but
like to. But
hopefully next year we'll plan out 2 more costumes. I know that Katie said that she wanted more, more feminine costumes. So I will keep that in mind in designing some of our new stuff, something that's cuter, more adorable. But yeah, as far as what's going on behind the scenes, it's a lot of reviewing through our quests.
Major overhauls.
Doing some major overhauls, which we'll get into later because I know that some players did specifically ask questions about quests level 1 through 50, so I'll wait till then. But yeah, it's a lot of kind of back-end work that'll make a lot more sense tomorrow.
Yes.
Alright, so, and the next question.
Moving on to my stuff, I was talking about premium, I think.
Oh no, there's still.
There's still a couple more questions
we're not
about
on
that.
Oh yeah, okay. Getting ahead of myself.
You're
Sorry.
too excited for the premium questions.
Oh jeez.
So, the next question for Varitas is it possible to work on decorating some maps or places, specifically during events such as Thanksgiving or Christmas?
So, good point. We do agree. Both me and Helium talked about this yesterday. We would love to be able to do a lot more of that. Strangely enough, the same issue that is affecting our costumes is also affecting our abilities to actually change maps.
We can add some dressing, but not as much as we'd like.
Yeah, so we talked about it, and there are certain things that Helium and I talked about as far as adding items throughout the world. We can't just do any major overhauls that would require, like I was thinking, it'd be cool to put holly on the doors and all this stuff like that, but in order to do that, it required a lot more finesse and ability than we have at the moment. But it is something we would like to do. We'll try and think about something like that for next year. We really have to see how far we can get with beating the program to a pulp and seeing what we can get out of it.
We've got a new programmer actually that's looking at ways of working around those things too. So.
Sweet. Yeah, so, and then the next question. I know that you would like cosplaying. I've been looking at your blog. How did Halloween treat you this year? Can you consider showing us some pictures from your newest Halloween costume? So, in regards to that, my Halloween was great. I actually am a character in a haunted house, and the same one for a couple of years now. This was our last year, so we were featured in a couple of different magazines and online blog posts. But no, it was great. We were only open for I think 4 hours, and we had over 800 people go through the haunt.
Wow.
So it was exciting. It was fun. I think I posted up pictures. If I haven't, I will go ahead and share them on my my Twitter, my CM Varitas Twitter. But yes, I was the creepy haunted. Kind of fortune-telling character in there.
So there was an added bit about the modifying of things, like specifically, so Wing Rider changed during Christmas. That can happen, but no, not a new one. But we can make the Wing Rider change for Christmas to the special Christmas Wing Rider that we have. And as far as the NPC's dress go, it is possible, but quite an undertaking to redress NPCs. But I'll consider looking into that to see if we can do something a little special for the holidays.
Yeah, well, I said we'll look into it. Mm-hmm. All right, so the next set of questions is for Helium. All right, and titled Item Mall. Is it possible to add premium tiers for your most active subscribers?
Okay, so premium's pretty. So he's saying premium tiers. All right, so premium's pretty premium now. Granted, those are. A lot of the bonuses gone back since the beginning. They're really simple bonuses. They're good bonuses, but having more tiers, I suppose, but we'd have to have a good reason for that. So you do include some examples, like things that would be in those tiers. So like a special discount on some item mall items, an exclusive presents which will be bound on acquire on the account and never seen before costumes, permanent pets, like early release stuff. Yes, that's all possible, and NPCs can be set up that can only be accessed by people with premium. A section of the item mall may only be accessible through premium, but I'm not sure that we would want to add new tiers for that. I would want to add to the value of the existing premium with that, but I mean, going forward, that's something to look at. These are great ideas, and the game is possible to implement them. So yes, adding value to the current premium and even adding more tiers is possible in the future. Yeah.
Alright, so the next question. I guess these are all just kind of examples, which is the tiers include special discounts,
Right.
premium, more users. So overall, I know that Helium said he did like the ideas, so
Right, I like it, the idea of adding value to the existing premium. I'm not sure about the new tiers right away, maybe something for the future, but at least adding in more value besides the old school bonuses, which you mentioned, is actually something that is definitely in planning.
so all great ideas. We are considering a lot of good points here. Of course, everything needs to be within the bounds of our capabilities. So the next set of questions are gameplay questions. When can we expect to see the newest quests between 1 to 50 level gap? Our new quest between the 1 and 50 level gap. Ooh, okay.
Okay, so new quests between. That's
It's a
something
loaded
I can.
question.
Yeah, it is. It's okay. There will be new, but they won't really be. I don't know how to explain it, and
Here,
I can't
let me-
really
let-
get into it until tomorrow when we can announce the
So
thing anyway.
overall, I don't know if Blueberry had ever expressed. So I had asked her not too long ago to go through all of the level 1 to 50 quests to see which ones are essentially kind of useless and which ones actually progress the story, and which ones are interesting but don't provide necessarily good items.
In large part, she did that.
And she did. So that was kind of the first part to kind of give you an idea. So the level to 1 to 50 experience has been something that we have been looking at this last year. It is a long and difficult process because doesn't it have like over 600 or 9? How many quests does?
Oh gosh.
It's got like hundreds and hundreds of quests.
There are actually. Okay, so if you talk about quests being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that's all one quest, 10 parts, then there's something like 900 quests or
Yeah.
something. But if you talk about every quest part, there's
Yeah,
thousands.
Yeah. So, I mean, even I started a new character and started going through from level 1 to 50 to try and kind of figure out what was even remotely interesting and what was kind of thrown in. We do want to redo the level 1 to 50 experience because we do realize that it is not very balanced. You don't really get good rewards.
And Turba is boring.
And
as
Turbo's
hell.
really boring.
God, that map.
So, a lot of this will actually be explained much better
One
tomorrow.
moment, friends.
Yeah.
I really hate to say the tomorrow part, but this question really does relate to exactly what we're going to announce tomorrow.
Yeah.
So again, stay tuned.
Focus on
it's
early game.
Yeah, it's Extra Life on our blog post. I believe we have the schedule up. Look for the Requiem one, and we will be able to explain much better there. Is there a possibility for a campaign quest line for each class?
Yeah, the game does allow for specifying class in quest prerequisites, and even in specific class rewards. You can get skills from quests, all kinds of stuff like that.
Well, I think what he's actually asking for is, so I know in a lot of games nowadays you have situations where
each race and class has its own storyline.
Yes.
And it follows those quests, and other ones can't
and
take those
actually
quests.
one of the exciting things is, so we've talked about this a lot. We wanted to add more very intriguing quest lines, or at least more fun quest lines. Our newest programmer is actually looking for a way to make that a lot more streamlined for us.
Yep.
So once that gets done, things like this will be a lot more possible. You know, you can have unique armor, unique items, unique skills, all coming from quest lines, items, stuff. So very much a possibility. We want to be able to do this. We hope to be able to do this, but right now it is very much something that will have to be looked into maybe next year.
Yeah.
So, sorry to coin that term, but next year.
Yeah, well, hey, half the things have been next year, half the things have been this year, so that's good.
So,
Makes
and
us
then-
busy.
Will there be an increase of level cap land?
Not this year, no. But that's a possibility for next year. It's not planned out for a level cap increase just yet. We earlier this year, I had wanted to maybe get to that this coming year, but I'm not at this point. I'm not focused on the level cap increase. Got to fix the stuff that's in there right now and focus on the project we'll be announcing tomorrow.
All right, so we only have like 10 minutes,
Oh,
so
gosh.
I'm gonna try and get through these. We'll answer as quickly as possible.
Okay.
We need safe zones. When can we see something done on this? Go.
Where was I? Had an answer for that. Can't change safe zones for the time being. We'll discuss in a question later on too.
Yes. Okay.
actually.
So yeah, again, someone mentions this. We'll go ahead and get back to that. When are you going to release new enchant compound scrolls like you did for the enforcement ones?
Answer that one too. So go watch the stream, rewind back to the beginning. We answered about the enchants and stuff early on.
Cool.
Okay.
When are you going to release the legendary weapons?
The ones I made are just placeholders, and that was planned for this year, but it was postponed until next year, so I don't have a specific date on that yet either.
All right. Remove a break chance for reinforcing.
Yes, that is going to go in this year.
In the works.
That is going to be a part of the launch of the thing that we'll be discussing tomorrow too.
Cool. Shortcut, a quest of Novolux. Easier and faster way to reach level 50?
Kind of the opposite of that. I don't know. I would rather have the game be fun and enjoyable and immersive 1 through 50 rather than just snap level jump item 1 through 50. I mean, I know we've been doing a lot of level jump stuff recently, but it's a little different when you're talking about our server. This server goes back to 2008. There are characters that are on this server that have existed since 2008. And yeah, it's different when the level 1 through 50 is a different thing to approach in a game that's been around since 2008 with no like wipe of the data or anything.
Well, at the
and
moment,
it is to consider like when you're actually starting fresh.
I think that's the best way to go about this is we won't necessarily have shortcuts. What
Right.
we do want to do is make the experience better. And a lot of that will be explained more tomorrow. But
Sure.
yeah, maybe not faster, easier way, but definitely a much
More fun.
more thought out way. Alright, so here's going back to the PvP questions. Will again spawn PK protection vendor for PvE players like me, or make again PvE server? So,
I'm considering ways of making it so that during character selection, you can actually select whether you're going to make a PvE or PvP character, and you would the game would start with PK protection shield or not, or even talking with the programmers about changing the way the PK protection works and stuff like that. There's a lot to that we could do even before, say, having an entire server launch that's PvE or PvP. There are ways to make the game more friendly to your choice of whether you want to participate in that or not. So yeah, looking into that.
yeah. So, no PvPE server, unfortunately, but we are looking at ways of making that available for players.
Yes.
Create a server for the Russians only.
Nope.
No. Increase forge success by 2 by 3 by rates.
Nope.
No. Allow PK just for limited zones. It's annoying when trying to do something in Album but can't because you're pwned. Again, going back to the PvE question, we are looking at ways of making something like that more available to players, but we need to make sure that we do it carefully because in the past the PK protection item was abused.
Yeah.
And we just want to make it unabusable, or at least, it's a choice. You either make it or you're done. It's kind of we're working on it.
Yeah, it was the turning it on and off really that could be abused so much. I would consider having you turn PK. There was a 1-day PK protection item. Maybe it should be a little longer of a period. It should be a choice you make, you invest in. It's not something like I'm going to switch back and forth. It's got to be one or the other really. And
all right, so
there's some problems with joining parties too. People that aren't PK protected can't join with people that are.
we discussed it. There's a question. Cool.
Okay. Oh yeah, we have very short time.
Yeah, make a level 90 skills like ultimate skill with high damage but long cooldown.
Yeah, we've done that. I mean, there are those level 90 skills now, and some of them are quite strong. And in the future, they are going to be looked to for actually providing more of the balance things. Some of the classes have level 90 skills that nobody likes, and other classes have level 90 skills that are absolutely required. So looking to fix that in the near future this year.
Alright, next question. Make Planty Lab quests more easier, like lower kill 40 borderline to 15, or change elite to normal from goblins, and nerf a damage from tiny lava dragons.
No way! If anything, you're gonna have to kill twice as many things to complete the quest, and the dragons are gonna hit harder. And what was the other thing?
Nerf a damage from tiny lava dragons.
No way!
Alright, so
unless they're one-shotting you. But anyway.
Yeah. So the next question is, nerf gears to no way for solo low-level raid like Runehorn. So PvE will be kind of more alive because players will make a raid party to run it.
Right, and even geez, I shouldn't be just thinking of things here like this. Yeah.
So
it would be cool. Maybe I should take the transmogrify stuff and put it into like. Maybe you should have to go do a raid to get the old gear if you want transmogrify to look like it. That might be cool. Something to think about.
So in the end, this is actually a very delicate gameplay version because we have to balance between what would be good for the player base as a whole as opposed to what is good for But the one thing I do want to say is we actually had talked about this in the past. Having items, especially new items, that specifically require you to go through raid parties. Not necessarily nerfing the current ones, but we had discussed basically either harder versions of existing dungeons, or lower versions for lower levels of existing dungeons, just so everyone can have a chance. But also making it so there's exclusive items that you have to get as a party going through it. I think his problem is right now, most players can solo Runehorn.
Well, yeah.
And Runehorn's not supposed to be something that you can be soloed, so it's a balance.
Well, when you're level 90, it's a little different. Runehorn is the first raid boss,
yeah.
really.
But level 9, but that's why we discussed increasing. But again, that's a much more difficult. If anyone has any ideas as far as ways that we can kind of go through that, please feel free to share them, because we don't want to just nerf everybody and we don't want to just make everything harder. We want to make it more exciting. So, number 10 is allow a PK protected player invite to non-PK protected player to a party. Completely understandable. Helium just mentioned it. Yes, that's kind of annoying.
Changes that system. Looking at changes in that system.
Yeah. Alright, number 11. Move a thing like you will auto-leave a party when you will be pwned.
Yeah, I didn't understand that one.
So that one we might need a little more explanation for. I know that me and AndraSyte were wondering, did it mean that you want something that, so if you're PK'd, you'll be able to auto-leave or something like that? I'm not sure.
Just so you know, there's bugs being reported in there, and I'm writing down some notes on them. So go ahead.
Yay. Yeah, good. Alright. Remove a bloody frame around your screen when you die in Battlefield.
What?
We're not quite sure what that one meant. We didn't know if you wanted that, or if you wanted us to remove the bloody screen.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that. Okay, and then make more cutscenes like you did in ROL, where you collapse a tower. Oh, so
that's the original devs did that one. That's pretty
so
cool.
again, so that kind of goes back to we would love to be able to do that. Don't get me wrong. We would love to have cutscenes, and we would absolutely die if we could have like CG animated scenes and things like that.
Alteris added one scene at least, but it wasn't a new, yeah.
It wasn't new.
It wasn't a new cutscene.
This is a dream. I'll be honest. Right now, the current team, which you're staring at right now, it's us plus 3 programmers out there.
Which we get to use sometimes.
So,
sometimes.
If there's ever a chance that we could do that, we would love to be able to do that. Right now, we can't. We can't. We don't have the time. I'm actually split between Rovu as well. And I don't know about AndraSyte's 3D animating skills.
Yeah, I haven't really touched in on that before, but I do.
So, I could give you a quick I can show you how to do it real quick. But yes, so number 14, make easier leveling and PV leveling.
What leveling? Power leveling?
PV.
Oh, PB leveling. Oh, yeah. Well, there are ways to do that. Actually, I can put in things that make the experience go faster for the possession beast. And yeah, possession beast often gets there's a lack of attention there that it needs more attention sometimes. They're really strong too, though. They also have some serious disadvantages.
Well, going back to it when we were discussing earlier, I do know possession beast was one of the things we were discussing last week.
Oh, I had to replace everybody's possession beast armor.
No, not that.
Okay.
You are actually talking about how do you want to handle the leveling? Because I know in the beginning the possession piece is only acquirable through a quest.
No, it's the first quest you accept. It's the first reward. It's like snap.
But
get out of the training grounds.
No, what I'm talking about is in the past.
In the past, it was a whole long
it was
story
quest line.
like thing. Yeah.
No, I guess that doesn't help the player who's asking for it to be easier. But what it did do is it opened up the discussion of how do you get the possession beast, and how can you improve it for the future?
Right. Okay. So now you just get it through the very first little. There's no story to it or anything. But yeah, having the storyline and everything like work into the possession beast is an important feature in the game. It's a big part.
And that's why along with leveling so the leveling portion will probably have to be something will be discussed tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Possession beast leveling, that's something that has to be fine tuned. Likely won't be done until next year. And this one's more of a comment. Please make Requiem be again good like it was Memento Mori. Yes.
Some people would disagree with that statement, but I like Memento Mori myself. I played during Bloody Mare and Memento Mori. I can't say which one I like more. Memento Mori brought a lot to the game, but it also brought something.
Yeah. Well, all right. So.
Okay. Trailing off. Sorry.
Yeah. Will there be new content?
Of course.
It depends on what you mean by new content. Again, we're very limited on what we can create.
There's going to be new content, though.
But we do. Well, what they're probably looking for is like new villages and towns and things. Well, we dream of such things.
Somebody wrote that? No.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll finally fix very old bugs and glitches. So, a couple of months ago, I did mention that we do have a list for Helium. And we're trying to go through that list one by one. He's actually already taken care of a couple of those items. I don't know if they were ever announced, what was actually fixed.
It was mentioned in maybe maintenance notes, but it wasn't specifically said like, oh, this is one of the bugs on the bug list. Oh, knocked one off the bug list, but yeah, we.
So we'll have to put up like a on-running post that kind of shows slowly the bugs that are getting fixed.
Right. That'd probably be good.
Recruited more Requiem staff. We need more GMs, GS admins. Well, we would love that too. We actually aren't involved in the hiring. That's not our purview. But, I mean, we are always looking for new GMs to make sure that our queues don't get very high. So that's something, yeah. We are looking for volunteers though. So if you would like to just kind of help out, feel free to hit up AndraSyte. We don't have like an official group. It's just like if you want to help out and do stuff, feel free.
Well, I hate to interrupt because I know we still have lots of questions to answer, but we are unfortunately out of time. I know there was a lot of people in chat, especially like Katie, who had questions that you want to have answered.
And I see bugs being reported, and I did write down actually some of those that you mentioned. So
if you still have questions, you can always PM me. You can PM Varitas on the forums, and we will take them down. Again, we'll be having a special 2-hour live stream tomorrow for Requiem at 9 p.m. PST. And we will answer those questions in the beginning so we can get that out of the way. Also, again, as we have mentioned and kind of dropped and kind of just put out there, where there will be a special fun announcement during that live stream. So make sure that you come and you tune in to see what the announcement is. If you're unable to join us, we will also be posting the live stream on YouTube and Twitch, all that stuff afterwards, so you can watch it at your convenience. But yes. But thank you so much for joining. I'm CM AndraSyte.
I'm Sue Veritas.
I'm Helium, and we'll do this again, so if we missed your question, don't worry.
Yes, do not worry, friends. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great day, everyone, or a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.